Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today we're working with this bracelet that I made. Um, it is a 8-color rainbow that is I don't use this term much. Asymmetrical, I guess, which means it's not really symmetrical. It's interesting. What it is, it's an arrowhead with a zigzag next to it that just match up together and become something incredibly wow. Now, because I used 8 colors, that means there's 16 strings on just the right side, another 16. So it's a 32 string bracelet. But because it's single stranded, it turns out that it's not huge and there's some kind of a big giant kind of bracelet, which is cool. But you might know that if you do single stranded, it's more knots per inch, right? So this means this took a lot longer. In fact, my video editor, because I record in 4K, is only capable of like doing so much. There's like how many hours I can do. I didn't actually try to push it to see, but after like 3 hours of recording, I realized like I gotta stop. So this doesn't have as much of a halfway point. In fact, I skip about half of making this whole bracelet, but there's enough in the video that you can kind of see what it went into making it. So if you want to make it yourself, you'll be able to see like how the whole bracelet gets formed in these rows. There's just little small rows of 3 that go off to the left and rows of 5 that go to the right, and it's in this zigzag thing that kind of helps make the whole thing kind of come together. And I love it. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful, beautiful bracelet. In fact, the colors are almost cartoonish. Like I'm pretty sure I've seen these kind of colors like in comic books and stuff. It is absolutely brilliant. It's not terribly difficult. These are 2 patterns that if you've been doing all 4 knots, getting zigzags and stuff, you might feel pretty comfortable with it. It's just the getting it set up and started that kind of is the real hassle. Yeah, once I got to like this part, like where we're at in the video right now, once I get to about this part, I was fine. Everything, it just comes together real easy. The only time I really needed to look at the pattern was to get it started, and then to make sure that I was ending it the way I intended to, so that way it's got like the 2 diamond ends coming off of it. But the rest of the bracelet was really intuitive. It was a lot of fun. It did take a lot of time. It really did. Like I said, there was a good 3 hours in just the first part of it. And then after that, since I wasn't recording, I didn't really keep track of the time so well. So I really don't know if it was 3 hours or more that went into finishing it. But yeah, it was kind of big. And because I don't know where in the video like it kind of goes, let me just go ahead and thank my YouTube members for making this possible. Without their help, I wouldn't be able to be making all these bracelets that I have and having the time to put into it and stuff. So I really do need their help in order to make these videos. If you'd like to contribute, that would be awesome. It's like $4 a month, 4 USD. It's 5 in Singapore dollars. I don't know why it's such a big difference. I don't think our currency is that off, but it is what it is. But yeah, you can see like it's just a lot of these little rows, and it's not difficult. It's just time consuming, as one would expect. 32 strings. I mean, that's a kind of a lot of strings in it, and but I love it. I think it's a gorgeous bracelet. I think you guys will enjoy making it as well. And it was kind of inspired by the rainbow bag that I did that had 16 colors and different parts of it coming together and stuff like that. I was kind of curious, could I make something like this? It's sort of asymmetrical in a smaller size bracelet, and not with 8 colors. I couldn't. There, you know, I kind of looked into it a little bit and it wasn't working. I think I know how to do it now, and that's going to be a future video, something to look forward to. I'm going to try making a smaller bracelet that has this kind of design to it. But yeah, if you guys have questions, you want to learn how to do this, anything, leave me a comment. I do try to help everybody that I can. We also have Discord where people are sharing their thoughts and ideas, and that's always kind of fun as well. You can show your works in progress and stuff like that. So when it came to the strings, you'll notice that certain ones are basically, you can just know that they're going to get used more because of the way that they like start at one side and go all the way down or whatever. But because they cross each other, you could swap them around if necessary. But I didn't do that. I actually just let the strings go. If it was traveling, you know, slowly over to the right, I just let it be. And there was obviously some strings are much shorter than the others, but nothing was so short that I had to worry about the tassel or ends. Again, I did cut my strings in thirds, which seems to be like that sweet spot where you can pretty much not worry about it running out. But I probably could have gotten away with cutting it in quarters if I did swap it out, but then you have to be like, when to do that? Where does that make sense? How do I know when is the right? It's just a lot of extra, you know, worrying about something that if you cut it in thirds, you just don't have to concentrate on it. It just works. So that's my personal recommendation. I know a lot of people like to try to save string and they like to try to squeeze out a little bit more. But if you're gonna do like complicated long zigzag patterns and stuff, wouldn't you just feel safer knowing that you're not gonna run out of string? That's my take on it anyways. Mind you too, my floss is a bit thicker than DMC, so the size of this bracelet will be slightly larger than if I had actually used DMC floss. And then I guess as a result, if I was using DMC, there might be extra rows to get the same length, but it's really not that big of a difference, especially with the single stranded. But there is some difference. Just a heads up in case, you know, you try out the pattern and you're like, oh Kevin, why is it so, you know, different? And that's because different strings are different. I had Daiso string, which is the smallest of them all, and yeah, that makes a huge difference, like between if you put bracelets side by side. It's really amazing. So yeah, I don't know what other kind of strings you guys have at your disposal. I know that like when I was in Thailand, they had a completely different kind of floss that I had never seen before. That was, none of them seemed shiny. They didn't seem like really brilliant colors. They looked more like natural dye kind of stuff. But they all made bracelets. The way they tied was absolutely brilliant. It was so nice and smooth, and the knots were so good. Of course, I haven't been able to find that again. It just happened to find a shop that had, and I cleared them out of their floss. We realized that the cost of it was like pennies a piece kind of thing. So we basically emptied out this store, which had the lady at the counter absolutely confused. It was hilarious. Especially, I think it's what really gets them is that I'm such a big guy and I'm getting excited over string, and then buying all of it up. I guess that's kind of not what they have envisioned with a a tourist coming through. So yeah, kind of funny. Yeah, because this pattern is so easy, and I actually gave myself enough time apparently to give chance to talk about other funny anecdotes, because why not? But hopefully the video is sped up like 10 times, again, because I had 3 hours of video, but I didn't have that much to talk about. It is sped up really, really fast, but hopefully you can still make out how to make the pattern come about, and see how this basically works and why I say it's so easy. It's the rows just kind of sweep back and forth, and yeah, I think it's a really good one. I think you'll definitely enjoy this, and it's such a cool looking bracelet. 8 colors, you know, that's easy enough, right? I kind of played around with the colors. You might notice, like the green is so bright it almost seems like it's a hot color, and also the light blue also seems like a hot color, and then the cold colors, it's like the pinkish and the red almost seem like they're cold colors because they're so much darker than the rest. So it's I was kind of playing with the color balance just to kind of make it more interesting, and I think that worked. I think it worked out really, really well. So something for you to try. And I think it's turned out pretty cool. Yeah, I think we're getting near the end of the video now. Pretty sure that's it. Yeah, and that's not even the halfway point. So yeah, it was probably well over 6 hours. So anyways, thanks for watching, and as always, don't get your strings to the bunch.